Forget avocado, forget kale, forget every superfood you've seen trending on your feed. There's a quiet powerhouse hiding in plain sight, one that doesn't just nourish your body, but reprograms it toward strength, resilience, and longevity. This isn't hype, this is biology. For years, we've been conditioned to idolize the same handful of foods. Avocado toast on every wellness blog, kale in every smoothie, chia seeds sprinkled like fairy dust on every breakfast bowl. These foods have become symbols of health, status, and modern nutrition. But the truth is, the spotlight often blinds us from the real stars hiding in the shadows. When we look past the marketing, past the repetition of trendy buzzwords, we find that some of the most powerful, biologically active foods are the ones we rarely talk about. Forget avocado. Not because it isn't healthy, but because it's time to widen our lens. There's another food that deserves our attention. One that doesn't just support general wellness, but actively transforms how our bodies age, move, and recover. This nut, often overlooked and underestimated, carries a nutrient profile that directly communicates with our cellular machinery. While avocado gives us monounsaturated fats that support heart health, this nut goes further. It helps rebuild and preserve one of the most crucial tissues for longevity, skeletal muscle. And here's why that matters. Muscle isn't just about strength or aesthetics, it's a metabolic organ. It influences how we regulate blood sugar, how we burn fat, and how we protect ourselves against chronic disease. Losing muscle isn't simply a cosmetic issue, it's a biological signal of decline. So when we find a food capable of interrupting that process, it deserves a place at the center of our attention. The beauty of this discovery lies in its simplicity. It challenges the idea that superfoods must be exotic or expensive. We've grown accustomed to associating wellness with rare berries from remote islands or oils pressed from plants we can't pronounce. Yet, here is a food you can find in any grocery store that's quietly outperforming many of the items we glorify. This nut doesn't need a marketing campaign or a celebrity endorsement, it just needs awareness. Because once you understand what it does inside the body, it's impossible to ignore. What makes this so powerful is not just the nutritional composition, but how it interacts with our physiology. The compounds within this nut influence molecular pathways tied to muscle synthesis, inflammation control, and mitochondrial function. In simpler terms, it helps your cells create energy more efficiently and resist the wear and tear of aging. It offers the kind of systemic benefits that no single vitamin pill can replicate. It's nature's design, complex, balanced, and synergistic. Every bite delivers a cascade of signals that tell your body to adapt, to strengthen, to preserve. So when we say, forget avocado, it's not about dismissing what's already known, it's about expanding our understanding of what's possible. Health is not about loyalty to trends. It's about curiosity, evidence, and the willingness to evolve. The nut we're talking about isn't a fad. It's a rediscovery. It's a reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary solutions are the ones hiding in plain sight, waiting for us to look closer, question deeper, and nourish smarter. When it comes to health claims, enthusiasm alone isn't enough. Science is the filter that separates fact from fad. The real power of this nut doesn't lie in catchy headlines or anecdotal praise, but in the growing body of evidence that supports its profound impact on muscle health and aging. What makes it remarkable is how its natural compounds align perfectly with what we know about the biology of muscle preservation. Muscle tissue is not static. It's dynamic and constantly being broken down and rebuilt through a process called muscle protein turnover. As we age, this balance begins to tilt toward breakdown, leading to gradual muscle loss, the hallmark of sarcopenia. But certain nutrients, especially those rich in amino acids like leucine, as well as specific minerals and antioxidants, can shift that balance back toward growth and maintenance. This nut happens to be one of nature's most efficient vehicles for delivering those exact compounds. Scientific studies have shown that the amino acid profile found in this nut activates a key pathway in muscle physiology known as the mTOR pathway, short for mechanistic target of rapamycin. This pathway acts as a molecular switch for muscle protein synthesis, signaling your body to build and repair muscle tissue. What's fascinating is that this same mechanism that bodybuilders try to trigger through protein powders and supplements can be naturally stimulated by a handful of these nuts. It's nutrition working in harmony with biology, not in opposition to it. Beyond amino acids, this nut provides magnesium, an essential mineral that plays a role in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the human body, many of which are directly tied to muscle contraction, energy metabolism, and recovery. Low magnesium levels have been linked to muscle weakness and fatigue, two key symptoms of sarcopenia. By restoring these levels through whole foods rather than synthetic supplementation, the body not only receives the nutrient, but also the cofactors that help it function optimally. The nut's combination of protein, healthy fats, and micronutrients offers a balanced, bioavailable source of nourishment that the body recognizes and utilizes efficiently. Research has also explored how the polyphenols and antioxidants within this nut help mitigate oxidative stress, a process that damages cells and accelerates muscle breakdown over time. Oxidative stress doesn't just make us feel tired, it literally wears down our tissues at the cellular level. The compounds in this nut help neutralize those free radicals, reducing inflammation and creating an internal environment where muscle repair can outpace muscle loss. Some studies even suggest that regular consumption of these compounds improves mitochondrial function, the way our cells produce and manage energy. Better mitochondrial health means greater endurance, faster recovery, and a slower rate of aging at the cellular level. All of this evidence converges to show that the benefits of this nut are not coincidental. They are measurable, reproducible, and biologically grounded. It's the kind of food that stands up to scientific scrutiny because its effects are rooted in molecular mechanisms, not marketing promises. The more we look at the data, the clearer it becomes that this isn't just another healthy snack. It's a nutrient-dense intervention that works in harmony with human physiology to preserve strength, function, and vitality throughout life. The loss of muscle with age is one of the most silent, yet devastating processes happening within the human body. Most people don't notice it until it's already well underway, until getting up from a chair feels harder, until carrying groceries becomes a chore, until their once stable balance begins to falter. This slow decline is called sarcopenia, and it affects nearly everyone past the age of 30 to some degree. What's shocking is how few people understand its consequences. Sarcopenia isn't just about strength, it's about independence, mobility, metabolism, and even the ability to recover from illness. When muscle disappears, it takes resilience with it. That's why addressing muscle loss isn't a matter of vanity or fitness. It's a matter of survival, longevity, and quality of life. The urgency around this issue is growing because our lifestyles have shifted dramatically. We sit more, move less, and consume diets that are calorie-rich but nutrient-poor. These modern habits accelerate the decline of lean body mass, setting off a chain reaction of health problems, reduced metabolic rate, insulin resistance, poor bone density, and eventually frailty. This cascade is not an inevitable part of aging, it's a biological response to disuse and undernourishment. The good news is that muscle tissue is remarkably adaptable. It responds to both physical stimulus and nutritional input. This is where diet becomes a powerful, accessible form of intervention. Not just to slow sarcopenia, but to reverse its course. When we talk about urgency, it's not just theoretical. Data shows that adults can lose up to 8% of their muscle mass every decade after the age of 40, and that rate accelerates even more after 60. By the time someone reaches their 70s, they might have lost a third of their total muscle mass. This isn't just a statistic. It's the difference between living independently or relying on assistance, between recovering from surgery or facing long-term disability. The clock is ticking, but that doesn't mean it's too late. It means every meal, every nutrient, every choice matters. This is why the discovery of specific foods that counteract muscle loss is so crucial. The nut we're focusing on is more than a source of healthy fat. It's a direct ally in the fight against sarcopenia. Its blend of amino acids, minerals, and bioactive compounds provides the building blocks the body needs to maintain muscle synthesis, even as we age. It supports the production of energy within the cells, reduces inflammation that interferes with muscle growth, and stabilizes blood sugar levels that often derail metabolic health in older adults. In essence, it gives the body what it has been deprived of for years, the biological tools to rebuild itself. The relevance of this can't be overstated because sarcopenia doesn't just affect the elderly, it begins decades earlier. By the time symptoms appear, prevention is harder, but still possible. Addressing it now means ensuring vitality later. The urgency comes from understanding that every small, consistent choice compounds over time, and that what we eat today determines how strong, capable, and independent will remain in the years ahead. What makes this particular nut so fascinating isn't just that it's nutritious, but that it operates at a biochemical level that directly influences how the body maintains and builds muscle. When we talk about muscle health, we often think in broad terms: protein intake, exercise, recovery. But beneath those concepts lies an intricate web of molecular interactions. This nut plays into that network in a way few natural foods can. Its nutrient profile isn't random. It's a precise blend of amino acids, fatty acids, minerals, and antioxidants that speak the same language as our cells. These compounds don't just fill gaps in the diet. They trigger processes that optimize muscle synthesis, reduce cellular stress, and enhance mitochondrial efficiency. One of the most critical components found in this nut is leucine, a branch-chain amino acid that serves as a signal for muscle protein synthesis. Leucine acts like a biochemical switch, activating the mTOR pathway, which tells the body to start building and repairing muscle tissue. What's remarkable is that this process doesn't just matter for athletes. It's essential for everyone, especially as we age. The body's sensitivity to anabolic signals declines over time, meaning older adults need more of the right nutrients to achieve the same level of muscle repair. Consuming foods rich in leucine can help counteract that resistance, effectively turning back the metabolic clock on muscle loss. But leucine isn't the only player here. The nut also delivers magnesium, a mineral essential for muscle contraction, nerve function, and energy metabolism. Magnesium works in tandem with ATP, the energy currency of the cell, ensuring that muscle fibers can contract and relax efficiently. Without enough magnesium, even the most protein-rich diet won't translate into optimal muscle performance. This nutrient synergy is what makes whole foods so powerful. Compared to isolated supplements, the body receives a balanced matrix of compounds that support one another's absorption and function. Equally important are the nut's healthy fats, particularly monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fatty acids. These fats serve as building blocks for cell membranes, helping maintain their flexibility and responsiveness. They also play a key role in regulating inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the hidden culprits behind accelerated muscle degradation. By providing anti-inflammatory lipids, this nut helps create an internal environment more conducive to repair and regeneration. It's not just about feeding the muscle. It's about protecting it from the molecular damage that weakens it over time. The nut's polyphenols and antioxidants further enhance its muscle-preserving potential by reducing oxidative stress, which can impair protein synthesis and damage mitochondria, the powerhouses of the cell. Healthy mitochondria are essential for sustained energy production, endurance, and recovery. By supporting mitochondrial function, this nut indirectly boosts stamina and resilience at the cellular level. Each of these biochemical actions, from amino acid signaling to antioxidant defense, contributes to a larger picture of vitality. What emerges is a compelling example of how nature designs foods not just to sustain us, but to fine-tune the machinery of human physiology, enabling us to stay stronger. Longer. Food is far more than fuel. It is information. Every bite we take carries chemical messages that interact with our genes, our hormones, and our cells. These messages can either accelerate aging or slow it, weaken our muscles or strengthen them, inflame our tissues or calm them. When we begin to understand food this way, nutrition becomes a tool for empowerment rather than restriction. The nut we're discussing represents that philosophy perfectly. It is a simple, natural source of nutrients that can fundamentally change the way our body operates. Not through artificial enhancement, but by activating the systems already built into us. It teaches us that food is not passive. It is an active participant in shaping our biology. Muscle is one of the most responsive tissues in the human body, constantly adapting to the inputs it receives. It responds to movement, to rest, and to the nutrients we provide. The compounds in this nut, from its amino acids to its antioxidants, act as direct signals to that muscle tissue, encouraging it to rebuild, maintain, and protect itself. The process is beautifully precise. When the body detects leucine, for example, it recognizes a signal to begin synthesizing new muscle proteins. When it receives magnesium, it enhances cellular energy transfer and muscular contraction. When it absorbs the polyphenols, it defends the muscle cells from oxidative damage. Each of these nutrients plays a role, But together, they form a synergistic message. Preserve strength, preserve function, preserve vitality. Empowerment through nutrition is about realizing that aging is not an inevitable decline, but a dynamic process that can be influenced daily through the choices we make. This nut embodies that idea because it demonstrates that small, consistent actions, as simple as including a handful of the right food, can send the body powerful biological cues. It reminds us that the body isn't waiting for expensive supplements or complex interventions to thrive, it's waiting for the right nutrients presented in their natural form. The empowerment comes from understanding that these changes are accessible to everyone. It doesn't require a radical diet overhaul or elite-level training. It requires knowledge, consistency, and respect for how food interacts with physiology. This mindset also reframes how we think about longevity. It's not just about adding years to life, but about adding strength and energy to those years. When we eat strategically, when we view each meal as an opportunity to enhance cellular performance, we step into a proactive relationship with our health. The nut's muscle-preserving qualities become a symbol of this approach, nature providing everything necessary to help the body maintain itself. This is the heart of nutritional empowerment. Recognizing that food can be precision medicine when we understand how it works. It's about aligning daily habits with biological intelligence, creating a feedback loop of nourishment and renewal that helps the body stay resilient in the face of time. Through that lens, eating becomes more than survival. It becomes a deliberate act of self-optimization. A choice to engage with the science of our own longevity discovery is one of the most powerful motivators in science and in health. The sense that there is always more to uncover keeps us curious, engaged, and willing to challenge what we think we know. Nutrition is an ever-evolving field, and while trends come and go, genuine discoveries stand the test of time because they reveal something fundamental about how the human body works. The idea that one humble nut could alter the trajectory of aging by influencing muscle preservation might sound too simple, but that simplicity is exactly what makes it so compelling. Nature often hides its most potent solutions in plain sight, waiting for us to look closely enough to see their true potential. The promise of discovery here is not just about identifying a food that builds muscle, but about redefining what we believe food can do. For decades, we've been trained to think of nutrition in static terms: calories in, calories out, macronutrient ratios, portion control. But this framework misses the deeper biological conversation happening within us. Every food we eat interacts with our cellular systems in complex, intelligent ways. This nut, for example, doesn't just provide fuel, it initiates communication between muscle cells, mitochondria, and the hormonal systems that govern metabolism. It activates pathways that promote repair, growth, and resilience. Discovering that a simple, whole food can have such a precise molecular impact invites us to rethink the boundaries of nutritional science. It challenges the assumption that we need advanced pharmaceuticals or engineered supplements to counteract aging, reminding us instead that some of the most effective interventions already exist in nature. The discovery also lies in awareness, in realizing that food is not a passive element in our lives, but a tool for transformation. By uncovering the muscle-preserving and anti-sarcopenic potential of this nut, we're not just learning about its nutrients, we're uncovering a blueprint for how to approach aging differently. We begin to see that the decline associated with getting older is not purely inevitable, but largely modifiable. This new perspective instills a sense of hope and responsibility. Hope, because it means our future health isn't predetermined; responsibility, because it means our daily choices hold far more power than we often realize. What makes this so inspiring is that discovery doesn't stop with information, it demands application. Once we understand how something works, the next step is integration, bringing that knowledge into daily life. This nut becomes more than food. It becomes a symbol of agency, a reminder that small, evidence-backed decisions accumulate into profound change. It represents the bridge between scientific insight and practical empowerment. In exploring its potential, we also rediscover something timeless: that health doesn't come from complexity, but from alignment, from reconnecting with the simple, natural mechanisms that our bodies were designed to thrive on. The deeper we explore, the more we realize that the future of longevity may not lie in something new at all, but in rediscovering the wisdom that has been there all along, hidden within the foods we thought we already knew.